And we're clear. What's up, gang? It's your boy T Business here, back for another edition of the Andrew Don't Know Football Fantasy Extravaganza. Sorry, I did not put anything on Do Not Disturb, so I have a lot of notifications coming in, Bozzy, Skinner, etc. That said, a lot of things are shaping up here for the playoffs, so I want to talk about where things stand with scores this week and where things are going to look to shape up for the remainder of the season. So, quick hits, companionship at the Chickens. That matchup is signed, sealed, and delivers. Companionship essentially needed to win to stay alive, and it looks as if their playoff hopes are extinguished. Congrats on the Cluckers. He's going to be still in the mix there for that 5th or 6th spot. If he lost, that would open up for companionship to close the gap. It did not happen. Looking over to hits from the gong and the Fighting Flapjacks. Hits from the gong also, they absolutely needed a win to stay mathematically alive. A loss would eliminate them entirely. They did not do that. Playing the Fighting Flapjacks was, quite the treat, and hits from the gong and Kelty remain alive for next week. It's all important game. He basically needs to win out from there. So moving down here, we have Pachita's Heart taking on the big swinging Dax. Strong effort from Pachita's Heart. Isn't going to cut it with the Dax. Also looks like Pachita's Heart is now just playing for pride. The only thing that we really could have done with that is, mess with the seedings and what have you, but not going to be the case this week. Now onto there he is, massive spread. Big game. Massive spread is still holding for that top seeding. Isn't going to get it done this week. He does have one guy yet to play, so maybe I spoke too soon. With that said, there's a projected total there of 101.2 to Cody's 105.28. So we'll see what's going to happen there. Pachita's Heart, as I mentioned, is playing for pride, and that was the previous week's matchup, so excuse me for that snafu. But yeah, it looks like Cody's going to be moving on and solidifying that second place. So looking over the course of the next few weeks, it looks like my game over Tui, Jesus Christ, Saquon Barkley, 44 points, 44.2 points. I have Derrick Henry going tonight. That game's over. It was a must win for me in terms of just to stay strong, and that looks like that Keeper Alert will be maintaining his stronghold for that 5th, 6th spot, maybe the 4th. We'll see. Moving forward, playoff implications. It looks like we have the locks is going to be the Dax and massive spread. And then we have our likely teams is going to be the Corns, and there he is, very likely. They really only needed one win over the next 3 weeks, including this one to secure a spot. Cody got that. Tui looks like he probably be able to. But that said, me and the Cluckers are on the bubble. Both of us coming off pretty big wins this week. It might come down to the wire, and hits from the gong is still in the mix. So they need to win out and hope that both myself and the Cluckers falter a bit. I got a pretty tough schedule. I'm not sure about the Cluckers. You guys can go look for that yourselves. I did not have it pulled up on the screen. Don't feel like clicking around. But yeah, eliminated absolutely Pachita's Heart, Fighting Flapjacks, and companionship is all but out of it. So let's get to voicemails. Not a whole lot to talk about right now. There was one thing that came to light last weekend and further confirmed via email is that a certain member of the league refuses to watch this show whatsoever because he is so embarrassed of his team's poor standing and record. Baker McGee, Finn, the owner of the Fighting Flapjacks, hasn't watched a single minute of the Andrew Don't Know Football Extravaganza. And I don't know why, if he thought maybe we were just like ripping on the Flapjacks the whole time. Feel free to join up, call in, air your grievances. Finn, tune into the show. Otherwise, next week will be a full episode breaking down just how shitty your team is. On to voicemails. We got one from the Dax themselves, Dr. Wydra. And can't thank you enough. A nice lengthy one, loaded questions, and let's get into it.
Hey, yeah, Tim. This is kind of a shady hotline situation, but I'm trusting it. It's Wydra here. I just want to say I love what you're doing with this show and got us all excited back into Andrew Don't Know Football, fantasy football for Dynasty 10 freaking years down the road. So we're grateful what you do, and this is a better way to do it than all the messages and boards and emails that Cody used to send out every 3 to 4 weeks. So I'd like to It's going to be a long one, so if you want to break it up to different episodes, go for it, but we should talk about some things. First off, that quarterback trade that you picked up, that Herbert guy, I think he did pretty well for you. Didn't you do something good with him and trade him on? I'd just like to, hear about this on the air a little bit and maybe put it in front of Cody to see what he lost on that one. That's one of the situations, but next situation I think we should talk about is these late fucking season trades. I'd like to say this is bullshit, being so far ahead of everybody. Well, with Skinner, obviously. But Cody trying to make it up, like trading these bullshit players with teams like the fucking Flapping Flapjacks. I mean, Finn, I mean offense to this. Your team sucks. So I'd like to maybe put an end to this and say, hey, we should have a deadline to say this is the end of the season trade. No more trades after this. Your team is dog shit. Don't start trying to plan ahead next year like the Cubs do. And that should maybe be week 9, 10. I don't know what week we're in, but there should be a deadline, just like the NFL does. And it was like 2 weeks ago. I know, Tim, your team benefited from these trades, but we should talk about that. Next situation, I'd like to know how your job interviews are going. Has anybody inquired about what you do, or are we still unemployed? You want to come out to Denver? It's a good job market. I think we should start talking about the future. What do you think about the playoffs coming up? I mean, any predictions? Do you have any favorites? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of good teams in the mix, and there's a lot of things that can happen, especially in these last 3 weeks. But, I mean, everybody keeps on talking that fucking Pachita's heart. Is that what it is? I'm not really sure what that is, but, yeah, they're a good team, unfortunately, that just has been shit on all season, and Luke's poured too much of his heart into this. He deserves a win. Love you guys, and I love, keeping this league alive. So, Tim, I appreciate you bringing us all back together. I wish our commissioner could have done better, but hey, we got to give him credit. He started this whole fucking thing. All right, guys. We'll talk soon.
Well, thanks, Doc. Appreciate the call. Not a shady hotline situation. It's just a regular voicemail number that is aligned with my business, Upheld Technologies, for all your connectivity and managed services needs. Really anything IT, we can help you and make sure your network is upheld. But anyways, no, great call. First point there regarding that quarterback trade. We talked a little bit about that, earlier on. I got Justin Herbert off the waiver wire. Cody dropped him for whatever reason. I flipped that into Bo Nix, decent player, and a draft pick for next year. So that's poor management on his behalf and not my problem. Regarding that, it was a late season trade. So on to your next bullet. The late season trades are an issue here in the league. I do believe, my personal opinion, whether I benefited or not, is that there should be a deadline aligned with the NFL's. That's something, unfortunately, is not in place, is not in the ledger, nor has that been voted on in previous years as far as my memory serves. We're going to have to open that up at the next draft, and we will certainly take a deeper look. But I appreciate your concern. Your first place, too. You don't want people, trying to position last minute deals, and those things can be shady. I'm not going to lie, especially with teams that are, completely out of it. And you've seen it before and you've seen it again. So we'll see what happens. But unfortunately, Frank, yeah, there's no deadline, and just them's the breaks. That's like what we say. So next situation, no, there is no job interviews really concrete. I've had a few different picks, little bites, nibbles here and there, phone conversation. So things are in flight. Finally, October was kind of a dead month for me, but who gives a shit? I'm probably just going to be taking my business full time starting in January because I'm sick of this working for the man nonsense anyways. Upheld Technologies, ladies and gentlemen. Check out upheldtechnologies.com and call the Andrew Don't Know Football Fantasy Hotline for all your IT needs as well. But no, that's really it. There's no huge on reviews. I'm probably just going to go at it on my own. So thanks for the call. You also may notice I don't have my contacts in, and these glasses are probably 19 to 20 years old. I call these my minis. I've been waiting for the style to come back in. It has not. All my other glasses are broken thanks to my children, and I just need to go see an eye doctor so I get new contacts and eventually a new pair of glasses. And that's all I have for you guys this week. Sorry for the short episode. I know on Saturday I got real excited. I was telling you guys how loaded everything was going to be, but that we got one voicemail in. It was a great one from the doc. Appreciate it. Good luck throughout the remainder of the season. We'll be keeping you updated and keeping you posted. But other than that, good. Yeah, I was going to say good luck again. Have a great rest of the day. Great rest of your week. Happy Thanksgiving. And until next time, folks.